Hello, and welcome to another week of the Abuse Cartoons live stream. So big apologies for that insanity that was last week. I was home most of the week with my daughter and having real technical problems getting online at home and having some kind of streaming setup that worked. And you probably saw the various failed attempts. I was connecting and dropping crazy frames and all that, and I finally got my tablet working relatively well, but it's kind of like I'm looking down sitting on my lap, so I can't really turn any camera on because you're either going to look at the top of my head or just up my nose. So I just did a screen recording, and then I think I realized halfway through that I was only recording one window of Photoshop, so you couldn't see both cartoons I was working on, and it was a mess. So if you watch that or watch that if you watch it live or watch it from the archives, it's quite a mess. But we're back, and I'm back on the Sunday night North American time, and should be more on a regular schedule. It's impossible to know with a school-age kid and all that good stuff. But we are back in this space, and it feels so good to be on the bigger tablet, not flat on my lap or on the tabletop, and better mic and everything. Yeah, the mic was just the tablet microphone, so I guess it was okay. It sounded okay, but it wasn't ideal. And so this is a little bit more comfortable, and I think creates a little bit easier to listen to and kind of more put together. Plus, I didn't have all my wonderful little graphics and things, and I couldn't switch over to any. I think I tried to go to the comments, but it wouldn't grab the. I guess maybe once I was streaming or whatever, it wouldn't let me add a browser window to the stream, so I couldn't do the comments. Oh, so actually that means we have 2 weeks of comments. We can look at last week's kind of crazy tablet drawn cartoons, and then the week before, because so we'll go back a little bit there. That'll give us something to do. But in the meantime, so this is the first time you've seen this. Welcome. And this is just every week I'm drawing 2 cartoons for GoComics.com, and this is Domestic Abuse, the cleverly named and always sad, sometimes funny gag cartoon that I've been doing since 2002. The first ones I drew were 2002, and they were just self-published for a while. And then I was syndicated in 2004 or 5, and I'd been doing it daily. I'd been doing it as a daily cartoon at that point, so I had quite a backlog. And so then when I was syndicated, I just kind of put that online and then just use that as a work ahead, so I could kind of catch up and stay ahead that way. And so I've been going ever since. And then around like 2010, 2012, maybe I dropped down to twice a week instead of the daily cartoon, because it didn't affect the deal at all, and it was still regular enough to maintain the audience and everything. So that's good. But okay, let's see here. What's going on? And just like my, there have been some wonderful Windows updates since the last time we did this. Okay, what was that all about? So who knows? We'll find some wonderful things, I'm sure. I love that when you come back to your PC and you have to log into Windows and everything is completely reset. Yeah, my PC at home is so old. Sometimes when it updates, the desktop image is changed. I don't know what exactly is going on. I don't know. But this feels so much better for drawing. I had to be so cautious, and sometimes I'd make a line and it just wouldn't do anything, and I'd just have to wait. There was a lot of lag. I need to, I think, play with the settings, which I didn't have time to do. I just was barely able to get online, so I was just happy for that fact. But I definitely need to play with the settings for the Surface to be able to draw better, because it really lags. Not that this doesn't. I didn't read them, but I guess Photoshop is getting getting some real bad reviews. Surprise, surprise, on the iPad. So they did supposedly a release of full Photoshop, and that's why I got the Pro, is because it was a tablet, but it could run full Photoshop, and that's what I really wanted to be able to do, not run some weird compromised app version. And I guess it's just not, and it's kind of ridiculous. Sorry. It's kind of ridiculous for them to try to do a full version of Photoshop, even if the iPad is fast enough, powerful enough to handle it, because people use Photoshop for such a huge range of things, from photo retouching to, compositing, doing frame by frame editing, compositing for videos, to digital painting, to, there's better apps for that, or better software, better applications for that. I love how there were applications, and then there were apps, and apps were this stupid thing that ended up on mobile devices, and now even Windows just calls everything apps. They're trying to blur that line, just like they did with Explorer when they were brought in front of Congress to explain, their monopoly on the internet and their, ability to keep browser competition out. When the File Explorer and Internet Explorer were this interchangeable thing that you never needed to leave, and why would Netscape ever need to be installed? And that was pretty amazing. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. And they said that was a big motivation for Bill Gates to kind of get out of the whole thing, the stress of that kind of be investigated by the government. And so now we're at that point with Google and Facebook, and it seems like they're just hanging in there because they're inhuman monsters that don't have any, and then they just put the people that they put up to represent them. I love how you're seeing with Twitter and Adobe and Google too. That it's just all Indians. It's all Indians and Pakistanis are running all the big Silicon Valley corporations anymore. All the lawyers and all the engineers and everything are all Indian American. So maybe Columbus was right, and after all, he did land in India. He was just a little early. Ay, ay, ay. It's crazy. Okay. There we go. Yeah, it's funny, I guess, Microsoft and a lot of the, if you've got a lot of engineers, if you've got hardware and software development, basically your employees are Chinese and Indian, Pakistani. I forget what you call Near East. But, Indian is Asian, but they don't. It's East Asian and West Asian, maybe West Asian. But yeah, that's funny because that's what MIT and Caltech and all those schools have a big program for foreign students, and if they're not foreign, then they're maybe second generation or third generation immigrants, and they're cleaning up as far as the high tech jobs. Yes, that's a funny thing that they are saying then about. It'd be interesting to know how many people are American-born and how many people are immigrants that come to the tech companies, because they're always talking about, this is not that interesting a topic, but they're always talking about the lack of science and maths in American schools, and somebody's getting some science and math education, or else they wouldn't be computer engineers and electronics engineers and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think that's funny. Oh, those are pretty similar. There we go. But yeah, that's very funny. But I still think there's a weird disconnect between people designing software and people using software. There's and I guess, in any kind of industry that becomes kind of insular like that, even creative endeavors, movie making or whatever, there becomes a bit of a disconnect. But with entertainment, that can be kind of interesting. You're seeing somebody's like criticism, because art, you don't mind if the person is not like you and actually their outside view looking at looking at something, a situation, a human condition or something that you're familiar with, and their take on it not being exactly yours is, kind of illuminating. But I think with things that are supposed to be practical and have some use, when people don't actually know how people live and they're trying to develop calendars and, reminders and just, how you would want to use your phone, it's ridiculous. And now our phones are getting full of, or at least I think Android is getting full of learning, which is, I guess, basically the beginning of AI in our devices. And it's not learning very well. It's not doing very well right now, but it's going to be incredibly difficult, because I think with learning software, AI type things, they have to have a basis that, they kind of have a beginning, kind of some fundamental, I'm sure there's a term for it, but some, basic principles or basic ideas that they start out with. And I think those are pretty bizarre, or pretty, disconnected from a lot of people's reality. Yeah, it's very funny. But it is a way, just like who was it? I think I've heard a few people say that, but it's not worth developing for anything other than Apple, just because Apple users are richer and they'll buy more things, and any extraneous development that you have to do for multiple models and screen sizes and things for the different Android manufacturers, it's just not worth it. It's just you're going to make that money back. And what was the someone was saying, like, there's like maps or whatever that show Apple users. Of course, it's clustered. It's like San Francisco, LA, New York, and that it's also the centers of wealth in the country. So it's just silly. But it's also maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell. But that was the really annoying thing during my education, is that Apple in the 80s flooded, especially art schools and people that were doing design, and maybe not digital filmmaking wasn't there yet, but flooded universities with gifts of Apple computer labs. And so everyone was learning to use a Mac. And then, of course, your first job, you're on a PC. So unless you luck right into and really to make money at that time, you were either on a PC or on a Silicon Graphics workstation. Nobody was using Macs for anything. I mean, unless you got into some boutique desktop publishing house or something. I don't know where the Macs were being used. I mean, I guess Avid, I don't know the timing for any of that, but Avid moved on to Macs at some point. But then once Macs became Pentium machines, it was just like they lost all of their specialness. And but it's just people that's educations were screwed up in that way. And I'm glad that as early as possible I had to kind of force myself I had to retrain myself, because that's just not good to be stuck in that mode. But actually, no, but I'm seeing still for a lot of design jobs, must have your own Mac, must have your own MacBook. I've seen Mac, if you're going to work remotely, it's must have MacBook. So, I guess for design stuff, which I haven't done for, I haven't done any of that churn. I've done a lot more character design and stuff that can be in kind of any format. But maybe if you're doing print ads and things, there's Mac houses that still want all the files to be done on a Mac. And I think music still, like, everybody has a MacBook, DJs and everything. And when you see electronic music, still is very Apple dominated. So that might be another domain. But it's just so ridiculous for the I'd rather not throw away all of my extra money that I've made, every 2 years, having to update my goddamn software or goddamn hardware, whatever. I guess you're doing both. But yeah, as soon as I think I've rambled on about this before, but as soon as I was kind of half Mac, half PC, like I always had like a small, like an old desktop Mac, or once I was trying to maintain both, that ended up being ridiculous. And the first time that I walked into a Apple store and I had a Mac Mini, the one that was like TV friendly or whatever, but I just needed a Mini because there were still some things that I could only do on a Mac, and files that I needed to still have access to and stuff. So I had a small Mac, and I wanted to put the Mac Mini on a monitor. So I just went in to get a monitor cable to the Apple store. Mistake number one. Monitor cable. We don't sell monitor cables. There's no video cables at all for sale. I'm like, how is that possible? Well, that was the age and the time when all the Mac monitors had a permanently attached cable to the back for video. So you had an AC cable, or it's just like a specialized cable, so it only went into some special port or whatever. So it doesn't work for anything else, so I would have to buy a monitor, and they didn't really sell monitors. That was when everything was kind of shifting over to iMac, so it was either you had a laptop or you had a built-in, your computer's built into the monitor, and the desktop, I don't know what people did. I guess they were buying the really expensive, like, the tweakable, for the true color kind of tweakable large displays for photo editing and whatever, that weren't Apple. I don't know. Yeah. So for that garbage can desktop workstation that they made, I don't know what you're expected to do with that or how to connect. But I was going insane trying to explain to this little chubby Asian guy at the Mac store, I just need a cable. I just need to come out from whatever this DVI graphics port, whatever the heck it is on this Mac, into a either a VGA or a DVI for my monitor. It's like, we don't sell that. That's not a thing. That was amazing. Yeah, so I was like, I give up. I give up on all of this. I never wanted to have anything to do with this, because I don't know if it was just like it's the effort to keep it so insular, and it works. There are some people that are just like, why would you ever use a PC? Because you've got your iPhone and you've got your little MacBook and whatever else you're doing all your work on, and if that's what you've learned, and the keyboard shortcuts and everything pretty much move back and forth between the two, but you do slow down because they do that opposite orientation. Like you close a window from this side, you close a window from this side, between Mac and PC. But whatever. I gave up on that so hard, and the only thing I've ever had any enjoyment from is just the iPad. The iPad is pretty simple, and I just have it like mounted at my bedside just for watching Netflix and whatever, listening to music. That's kind of useful. It's an incredibly expensive, e-reader, because that was mostly what I was using it for, is like PDFs for role-playing games and stuff. It's an insanely expensive version of that. But I don't know. So I don't know, because my daughter is using the iPad Pro for drawing, and that's been very tempting. But if I can't get the exact experience that I'm getting here on the Cintiq with the PC attached to it, I don't know if I even want to bother. Because if you're relearning a touch and it's going to change your style, and I don't know. Because this was already a hard enough jump for me to go from Sharpie on paper to this digital drawing, because as I've probably said, the original intention for doing the Sharpie drawings was that it made me commit. So you see a lot of the early stuff is very wonky and it's lopsided and funky looking, and the line is just not great. Because I wanted to commit, I didn't want to do what I'm doing now, which is undo. I didn't want to give myself that many chances, and just kind of wanted to commit to shapes and things, and that kept me, I think, disciplined and kind of working in a specific. It created this style, I think, that I came up with for this cartoon, and it's just kind of gotten refined a little bit over the years, but I have moved away from the original discipline of it, because it's not on paper anymore. Because a Sharpie, especially on not very heavy paper, it's going to soak in really fast. So you're moving pretty fast, and anybody that does marker drawings, you're kind of on the move a lot more, just because of how the paper is, drawing that ink in, and how the felt tip kind of interacts with the paper. You can kind of get caught a little bit with the lines. So I was using that kind of as the style. Oh, I hate this lasso, but I'm always using it. So I it took me a while to transition from that, and it obviously affected the style, but it made me be able to create this, more regularly. And scanning was becoming such a problem. Scanning is it doesn't even make any sense. Scanning is such a pain in the ass now, and you can't scan natively in Photoshop anymore. And if you have a scanner, you're bringing it in, you're using their garbage third-party software, and then you're creating this file that then you can bring into another program. Instead of doing that acquire, whatever that was. What did that used to be? It doesn't even exist anymore. Yeah. Yeah, there used to be like an acquire or whatever that would launch. When did that stop, and why would that possibly stop? And why would you not want to scan, especially if you're doing like photo restoration stuff? How are you supposed to? It doesn't even make any sense. Like why things change, and I'm sure it's a wonderful Adobe, situation where they weren't getting some licensing money or something from Canon and whoever else made scanners. But yeah, just miserable. So things just shift. And so now, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some secret that I'm missing, but I'm pretty sure people are just taking pictures of their art on paper with their smartphones. Just whatever. Yeah, it's very strange. Yeah, because that was the thing. I felt such the learning curve, or the, my being lost with technology when, the Instagram and the photo sharing apps were, you can't just move some picture into there. You can't draw something and then move it into there. It has to come through either the camera, it has to come from the camera or be on a device. So basically, you can't from the desktop put something into Instagram because I don't know why. And that was very shocking. So I was basically taking pictures of my monitor with my smartphone. Wonderful, wonderful. And yeah, it's just stupid. So I'm sure people have like camera stands with their phones and stuff. They must have, because there's so many people doing the live drawing and stuff, and people using their phones to stream. Seems like a ridiculous waste for, I don't know. It's just silly. Just silly, and not, I don't know. People are trying to prove that wrong, like this can be professional equipment, you can do professional grade things on, but not compared to actual professional equipment. I mean, it's getting better. It's better than garbage. That's, I don't know. Whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about any of that. Yeah. But, yeah, so this was a common thing. If you can see this drawing here. So with the Sharpie, I would make a lot of these over to get a nice corner, or I would, to get a nice balanced line, I would go overshoot the corners like that. And so this is what I would do in Photoshop with the actual marker drawing. So some of my original marker drawings have the kind of lines extending off of corners if I'm trying to draw boxes and things. And so that was that's a funny artifact of that time. And now I can just take it off as soon as I draw it. Oh, all right. Yeah. So, yeah, this will be nice not having to, because I have a kind of big university thing on Tuesdays that I have to get up pretty early for, and it gets me pretty tired. So most of my streams from last year, I'm all wired on caffeine because I've been drinking coffee all morning, trying to have energy for critiquing science English and things. And so I would come in and try to get recaffeinated to do the live stream, and was just so burnt out. And I think you could probably see if I go over, maybe the first 30 minutes is a little chatty, and then over that I'm just just barely humming. And it's funny, some people because there are people using streaming very differently, and I kind of like the running monologue thing. I mean, that's what I would want to listen to, but I think Twitch is more, especially for younger people, is a do one more of these, is a just a hang kind of thing. So you just sit there, the cool kids just sit there and do their thing and wait for people to show up and start barking at them. So that's a funny difference. Is like, I don't want to just sit here like what does it feel like? Yeah, it just feels weird. Oh no, let me switch over. Yeah, there's just something uncomfortable about it. Like you turn on, like you're one of those guys painted silver. And it's not until somebody gives you a quarter that you're like, I'm alive. That's how it feels for me. So I would rather just mumble on and on. So then that in your archives there's actually something. It's not just you sitting there being cool, chilling with your tunes. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing too, is no music, just my lovely voice. A lot of other people, this is going to be a totally wrong perspective. I don't know what I'm thinking. I think I'm just, of course, boom, boom, boom. I'm always on the wrong layer. That's the curse of Photoshop. And it's nice, it's gotten easier. You can actually grab objects and it puts you on that layer again. Yeah, but I just don't, and I think, as I said on the weekly podcast for Idle Red Hands, the thing about social media that I don't get is the social part of it, because I don't get kicks out of any of that stuff. I'm just not wired to be thrilled by that feedback enough to do, to go out of my way to do anything about it. And it's probably, as you can tell, because I would probably be doing better streaming numbers if I did that. If I was like, come on. I only exist when you are here kind of thing. What am I doing? Yeah, so I should draw this backwards. So wait, let me get out of here. Oh. Yeah, right. Yeah, perfect. And then just try to line this up. Make it a little more open. Oh, but yeah, so it's just, there's definitely a generation of kids or people, they're adults now, they're probably in their 30s now, that are wired to really get off on, wow, I'm getting attention, I'm getting noticed, and, you go girl, do your thing. That is not all that appealing. It's kind of like, what's it like? It's like getting to know your neighbors. So, lived a miserable suburban life like I did for a couple of years in Los Angeles. Basically, you're just saying hello politely to your neighbors is fine. Seeing them in the driveway, a little small talk, a little chat, but then something kind of like comes along like Halloween or something, and you have some reason to drink with your neighbors and kind of hang out and get to know each other. And then once you know each other too well, then you're living next to some, kind of family level or too friendly level acquaintance. I guess, somebody that's always kind of in your business. And so that's weird. Yeah, that was just really weird. There's definitely a good distance to keep your neighbors at that I never figured out, of course. And then watching your neighbors get arrested. I didn't say I lived in a great neighborhood. Yeah, then that just becomes a little too much. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. the whole thing. Because it would be nice. I mean, it's nice to, help each other out and have, rely on each other in emergencies and know each other enough that, something, earthquake or whatever, and you need to check on each other and, that kind of stuff. That's great. But, yeah, it can get to be a little bit too much. And I think that's just the American style. And I don't know if that's a Los Angeles thing, but everyone loves to just get in your goddamn life and tell you how to live, and it's just a mess. Like, the two things that are the most annoying about Los Angeles is people feeling like they can instruct you. And I guess because I was in my 20s when I was there, but people that feel like they can just tell you exactly what to do or tell you what you're doing wrong in just about every goddamn way. And then the guys that think they can hit on your wife or girlfriend, like the most ridiculous thing about LA is how forward guys are, and just that they're doing this weird thing where they're just like, oh, I didn't know, man. Hey, oh, she's with you. Oh, that weird crap all the time. That in any other parts of the country, it would you just get beaten for pulling that kind of shit. But in Los Angeles, I guess because, there is just a different tone of everything. So it seems like there's just so many more of those, girls, like sugar babies and sugar daddy relationships and stuff. So guys, if they feel like they've got, some kind of financial situation or got some kind of status, will just relentlessly hit on other people's wives and girlfriends. And it must work because a guy doesn't do things. That's the one thing that I learned, is that if it works 1 out of 1,000 times, then it works. And a guy will just try that bullshit again and again and again. But, that was the worst part of having my wife now before we were married at, like, Comic-Cons and stuff. It was just like she had to just sit there and be subjected to all these fucking idiots. Oh, we're having a party at the... okay. All right. Yeah, that was amazing. And I can't even imagine, because I didn't, go to anything high level. I can't even imagine what it's like on the level of when you're dealing with multimillionaires and billionaires walking around wanting access to what you got. And that must be, the situation that happened to every one of those bumpkin kind of photographers with the pretty model girlfriends, the guy that brought, Pamela Anderson or whoever from Canada down to America, whoop, immediately. Just like, I'll take that. And thank you very much for helping us discover this wonderful talent. Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know what I'm doing with this. I don't think that's what I'm doing. Okay. But yeah, that's easily the most like, what the hell kind of thing. And it's kind of the it feels like that evangelical Christian thing where it just kind of permeates everybody's thinking. They've like figured it out. Like you'll hear, I think they made fun of this on Saturday Night Live when it wasn't unwatchable, where they were talking about a lot of conversation between California or Los Angeles, between Los Angeles people, is the best way to get somewhere using the highway system because everyone's driving. It's like, that counts as conversation there. Amazing. So either talking about horoscopes or your star charts or your moon sign or whatever, or you're talking about the best way to get to from here to Burbank, whatever. Wonderful. Yeah, I don't miss that over-reliance on cars. That's a nightmare. It's a cursed existence, but it gives everybody an excuse to be late, so gotta love that. That's all anybody... traffic. It's all anybody ever said to excuse what nobody else can get away with. A family of empties. Okay, I think I'll go with that. Yikes. All right. Oof. Oh. Hey, shortcut. Okay. I love when sometimes when it just doesn't work at all. Is there any lines still there? No. Good. Oh, all right. So, not doing anything massively creative. Painted more orcs for my commandos, the Finecast set. That was the first time that I'd dealt with Finecast, and it does suck because there's bubbles in it, and what they're called supports, but like all of the on the model itself, anytime there's something that has detail on it that's like extended or close to the body, or kind of has undercuts, I think is what they're called, on it, it's going to have a lot of like supports to make sure that all of that stuff gets fed by the resin when it's cast. And I thought I cut everything out, but then I'm painting stuff and I cleaned up mold lines and everything, but there's just, because the sculpts aren't done on computer, it doesn't look like, they feel very sketchy. They're more like a sculptor sketch, like there's some looser kind of looser shapes and design, so it gives them an interesting character. They're a little bit more exaggerated and cartoony in some of the look, but because of that style, there's things that are kind of flaring or rough edges or things, and so when you're trying to figure out, okay, is this part of the model, is this not, you end up doing a lot of like sculpting of the model yourself. And I realize there's a couple of supports, so you say you've got like an arm and like something coming off of it, and there'll be a thin support, so it'll be like a width, it's like a couple millimeter, or like probably a millimeter width kind of little plane that was used to support this part of the model and make sure that all of this stuff gets filled in anything that's kind of undercut that little area. And some of those are still on there and in weird locations, and I can see now when I painted them why I didn't see them, because they kind of blend in with folds of fabric and things, and just it's really annoying, and it's so frustrating to make those kinds of mistakes, because I was painting. That means I'm already primed and cleaned and everything, so I thought it was good, but you got to be real meticulous, and I'm just not, and it gets so boring, and plus I didn't want to handle resin any more than necessary. But so that was very frustrating, but they look nice. I mean, I love the sculpts. They've got a lot of character and stuff. And straightening the resin in hot water, like some of the arms and stuff are a little bit funky. Works just like plastic. It works really well. You can get them back into shape with just a little hot water. And I think they stay in shape a little bit better, because I did, and there's a video of it somewhere, I did a staff for one of the other side, the Malifaux universe game. There was a long staff that the one main character had, and put it in hot water, and boom, it was perfectly straight again. So then I froze it, but the material's a little soft, and it just kind of went out of shape again after I painted it. So it's a little frustrating. I don't know if there's anything I could have done to stiffen it, like using some I don't think so, because it's all basically acrylic is just going to create thin. There's not going to be anything that's going to create a rigid layer that would help plastic stay. So that's not a great part of that. But anyhow, I'll put some photos of those on the Auto Red Hands Instagram when I do a little bit more detailing and stuff, because I use the contrast paints, because I love how the orc skin looks with the green contrast paints. But it does, especially with these, with the kind of deep ridges and stuff. Oh, it recessed and got darker than I wanted to in some areas and stuff, so I'll have to go back and kind of retouch. And because when you're using the contrast paints, you're usually going over light gray or white, anything you miss is very visible, so I have to go back and touch up all the little weird angles, because you're painting and it's wet and you're getting a reflection, or kind of a glare, or like a little reflection that is white, and so you have a spot that you missed. Is that a reflection, or is that the white primer underneath? And I've had all those wonderful experiences. So but I love it. Just I don't quite think I am, know what I'm doing with the contrast paint, but I like how it gets you a couple steps ahead faster. And if you're not doing something, I mean, I can see when you're painting kind of a horde army or something that has a lot of models, I can see how that helps you with your momentum. Is that a picture? It helps you with the momentum of painting a little bit more, because you feel like you're further ahead, even though the looseness and how the paint dries, it kind of makes its own decisions. And if you're not really careful with every single angle and every single place that it's going to be pooling, you're going to get some odd results. But I can kind of understand why it feels like it's getting you far ahead, and it's going to eliminate. So there's just going to be people that have blobbed on contrast paints on models and then throw them, get rid of them when they leave the hobby. And it's going to eliminate those, which I think maybe some people like, but those models that you have to strip that just look like melted candles because somebody had taken like lacquer-based paint and just like basically dip them in, or just kind of with a big brush, just kind of try to hit some areas with lacquer paint, and they just look like big shiny blobby messes. And so now they're going to be blobbed on with contrast paints, which doesn't go very thick and does that pigment separation thing where you get darker color in the recesses, lighter color on the raised areas. So it looks okay. It just has a lot of inconsistency. Like watercolor on paper, it just kind of goes, and if you just are loose with it, it just kind of goes and does what it does, and it's darker and patchy and blotchy. And for some types of materials and things, like what's supposed to be dirty canvas or stained dirty leather and stuff, that kind of works in an interesting way. And if you can fix it with some of your highlights, like make it look more intentional with some of your highlights, I think that works. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but I enjoy the speed boost that it gives me. I feel like I'm getting to a more finished state faster, because you're just doing your flats, and you're kind of doing a flats wash and a little bit of a highlight all at the same time. So I feel like, it's further along, and then go back and kind of fix. I don't know if going back and fixing the randomness or the things that the paints did that it didn't want them to do is good, or if it's just better to kind of slowly, progress through that, because you get more satisfying results. It just takes longer if you do it the traditional way. But I don't know. It just we're going to see the resold used models are going to look nicer, be more usable, I think, on the tabletop, and more people will paint. I hope more people will actually paint their models with that kind of technique. Although it is kind of most miniature painters are scoffing at it as baby's first paint technique or whatever it's baby town frolics. But I don't know. I think there's definitely a use, and especially I really like it for things that are wrapped or have close ridges or little texture, because just boom, that paint immediately gives you nice raised edge and nice dark recesses. And so for like leather bindings and stuff, it looks nice. I like how that comes across. And then you can just hit it with a highlight of another lighter color to make it pop a little bit more. And I think that's great. I'm a big fan of snakebite leather, the contrast paint color, which you will see if you look at those commandos on Instagram. All right, a picture. That was very heavy-handed. Weird. Okay, let's try that again. It's a little more interesting, maybe. Ooh, you can hear my felt tip. Maybe. I don't know how sensitive the mic is. Yikes. Okay, let's pull that over a little bit. I like the chubbiness of it, but it looks a little odd. I don't even know if they make... It's been so long. I gotta get myself back to an American grocery store. And see what sugar looks like. Alright, so let's see here. Come on, there we go. Picture could probably be just a little bit bigger. Yeah, there's something there. All right, and I think I'll stick with this. And who are you? No, and no. Okay, let's try to group all these together. Oh, look at the little one. Can't keep up. Can you see that? Yeah, yeah. The little one looks like it's walking. Nice. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. The guy that I worked for, the editor at the Disney comics, was always asking if I was going to do an animated version of this. And I like that. I think in Flash I did like, some blinking, some versions of these objects blinking. But if I could find a good voice actor for it, that would be wonderful. Yeah, these things are getting so big. Scale stuff down a little bit. Yeah, with this too, let's not get crazy here. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Something a little bit more sane. All right. All right, so before we color, why don't we do the comments? Okay. So let me just double check. Come on. Oh, all right. Oh. Well, if you're watching, if this is the first time watching the stream, welcome and thank you. And feel free to say something in the chat. I will keep an eye on it. So I hope to, hope to see if anybody says anything. I don't want to miss that. Okay, so let's try this. So here's the little wonky part. But, okay, here and infinite me. Okay, there we go. Oh, no, this part. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. So sorry, we'll get to the convenience store later. All right. So, what's going on? The camera. There we go. Okay, so comment section. So this is going to be, we'll do 4 because I missed last week. I wasn't able to do it. So we're over here. So this is gocomics.com/domestic abuse. So the archive for everything. And if you'd like these delivered to your email as they come out, you can subscribe on Go Comics. And there's thousands of cartoons, including classics. I think there's Doonesbury and all kinds of stuff. I'm totally Calvin and Hobbes, all kinds of stuff. I was trying to think of the one that everybody hates me for being in the same syndicator as, and that would be Calvin and Hobbes. People sent me death threats because I was on the same syndicator as Calvin and Hobbes. So the November 7th cartoon, like the human body, creativity was 60% water. Wah wah. That's one of my silly. So what do we got? We got 1 comment, 1 like, 1 pin because it was like plus 5 to 10% alcohol depending on your taste. Nice. Like that guy. All right. And let's go back 1 to November 5th. Sure. Yeah, I don't think this one came across, and since this is tablet drawn stuff, it doesn't look that bad. It felt bad when I was drawing it. It doesn't look that bad. But oh yeah, and I should put the monitor over here because when I look at the monitor, I'm looking away. Can I mirror this? I don't know. Okay, anyhow. So I'm reading the wrong direction. Oh wait, I should put okay, here we go. This is amazing. Are we going to do this here? Okay, where are we? This is me. So this is the tape. Oh, it's got 2 sides on it. So, and then here's this. Where is that? That would be this. Yes. And I'm here. Oh man, we're breaking all the rules. This is amazing. And then put the chat over here. Okay. We have totally gone beyond. Look at that. So now when I'm reading it, look like I'm reading it more. Okay, that's good. And you can see the microphone. Whoops. Oh, that was the way. Yeah, dipping the camera a little bit there. Okay. Sorry about the noise. Okay, so now I'm looking at the cartoon. Whatever. Okay, so as you can see, he was pretty terrible at his one and only job. Another 1-in-1, but no comments. All right, yeah, because this one went out like a week late almost, so apologies for that. All right, let's check the week before. Uh-oh, it's an apple. Oh, it's this. Oh, yeah, no, I think we did the comments. I may have checked those, but I don't think. I don't know if. Yeah, I don't think it's possible that I did that. Okay. Oh, I think I remember this. So in the voice of John Mulaney as Mick Jagger, not funny. Did we? 31st? No, it's only the 11th. Yeah, that must be it. I guess I did. I did do that. Not if you're from Michigan. A recall was issued for listeria. Oof, listeria in apples. There's no Halloween blade sneak locally, but we do have a rifleman killing eagles. Should be a slam dunk. I don't want to hurt him. I just want to stop him. Rather an honest eagle any day. I think the individual shot my osprey. My favorite osprey. This is depressing. Did I read this last week? I don't remember. I don't think any responsible parent would let their kids eat a Halloween apple before checking it first. That is very true. While exaggeration is widely accepted in humor, in real life exaggeration is a refuge of the clueless. What? Oh, Gerard. That might need to go on my next. Yeah. It's widely accepted in humor in real life. Exaggeration is the refuge of clueless. Yeah, definitely for the apple joke thing. I don't think when they talk about it's like kind of an urban legend, the Halloween candy stuff, because any poisoning or any pins, I guess straight pins, I think was the actual thing, like pins in apples. But the only like reported incidents of those were like family members doing it to their own kids, and so there was never reports of strangers doing that. So it's just a joke, but it could be a clueless. This whole cartoon could be written by a clueless person. It's very possible. People are just so sensitive and condescending anymore. All right. Yeah, I think I did. These feel familiar, so I may have read this. So, or tried to. I don't remember. He was confused by the idea of a non-decorative pumpkin. Ooh, some likes and one comment. What's equally confusing is that canned pumpkin contains no pumpkin. It's made from squash. That makes a lot of sense because the texture, if like, when you're scraping the inside of the pumpkin, the texture of that would have to be cooked down for days. It's so fibery, and so to get to be that kind of very soft consistency that pumpkin pie filling is. That's crazy. Let's give it a like. Thank you, Decker. Yeah, that's very funny. But the angry, the clueless, and that's not even. I mean, people are relatively nice on here. I've had some crazy. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I definitely read this. Okay, so let's go into the meaner comments, because it was I think before they started their premium service, or they had it maybe from the beginning. Go Comics did, but I would get just brutal comments. Like if the cartoon was a day late, it's like, if you can't keep up with the schedule, get the hell off this platform. Like people were just vicious at the very beginning. But I think the whole world was a lot more vicious. Okay, come on, random. A lot more vicious. Oh, I love this one. He had suddenly become a very dirty martini. No comments, but he's got a dirty sock in there. So I hope that reads as a sock and not a condom. But I like that one. Oh, look at all these guys. They couldn't help but feel a foreign influence in the cup of noodles. Yeah, because the cup was actually developed in the U.S. because people wouldn't eat out of styrofoam bowls. Oh, 7 legs. All right, there's an old one. There was always someone happy to see the season end. Oh, the losing team. Okay. He wished that he had more to offer than a light salting. I guess that's supposed to be salt. I should have written salt on there. Yikes. 2016. Bum, bum, bum. It was too bad that anxiety medication had no effect on itself. Very funny. Very funny. Oh, here we go. Very old one. A classic from 2008. They refused to believe that they were involved in a lost cause. Oh, there's some comments here. We'll read a couple. Far Side Wannabe. I never saw that one. Oh, that's great. You Far Side Wannabe. I love a mind that thinks like this cartoonist. Oh, that's so sweet. Far Side Wannabe. Yeah, people have their favorites, and Far Side Wannabe. Yeah, the Far Side doesn't have any inanimate, or maybe it does. I don't know if I've read everything. It doesn't have any inanimate objects. It's all like weird characters. It's weird humans and cows and stuff. Far Side Wannabe. There we go. That's the meanness that I was digging for. You gotta love that Clara Mealy. Yeah, it was brutal. Far Side Wannabe. I don't think they ever critiqued the beauty industry in Far Side. Anyhow, okay, well, I think we've got the comments screen looking a little bit better. So when I'm looking at the cartoon, I'm actually looking at the cartoon. Far Side Wannabe. Okay, this Far Side Wannabe is going to switch back to coloring. So let's try that. Wait, where am I? I'm seeing cursors and cursors and cursors. All right, here we go. Yep. I think purple will look nice if I can get it to. Yeah, I'm going to blow that out a little bit, I think, to get that nice purple. Yep, can't please everybody. All right, and here for now. Maybe this is too bright. Yeah, I think maybe for the top it's okay. I'll try a little darker. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, grape was always kind of murky. Oops, I'm going to do that on another layer. It's okay. Yeah, we'll just go like that. We'll go with that, and the sugar, like a bright blue. Yeah, we'll do like a kind of a 50s thing. And the grape drink. I'm doing real blown out colors this time. And maybe here. And far as I'd want to be. Where was that encouragement 10 years ago? I would have stopped this godforsaken cartoon if only someone had just told me off. Ah, shoot. Yeah, what am I doing here? Okay, let's just get rid of this. This needs to go in another layer. I'm doing bad. Out of practice already. Oh. Okay, that's going to be grape. Kinda. Yeah, I don't like that. Maybe just the name, like the brand name, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that works. And maybe some... remember Kool-Aid having like edges, like the not there, here. Yeah, the other side of the foil was, the back of it was printed on white, so sometimes the printing was misaligned. Yeah, so I haven't talked about anything creative in a while, but that comment just made me remember, kind of think about that's the thing. Doing anything creative is you have to have, some self-assuredness or self-confidence that what you're doing is worthwhile, because, not only are people going to doubt you and be critical, but, you're going to always doubt yourself. And I don't think any amount of awards or successes or publishing credits is ever going to make you feel like, yeah, I'm definitely, with some people, I think it's different. But I think, for the most part, yeah, you don't you'll never have the satisfaction. I don't know, though. I really feel like maybe there is a generation now of very satisfied artists, because you have the, like I talked about before, you have social media telling you you're wonderful with likes, because there must be a kind of threshold where people are like, I'm popular online. I get 10,000 likes, everything I post. I'm popular. I've done it. There must be that kind of artist that, just gets enough recognition, and that sucks because that's why there's going to be so much mediocre stuff, and why everybody thinks, you know, everyone's got a Etsy store or whatever where they're selling every Inktober, everything they do. They're like, oh, and these will be for sale because I'm so amazing that you'll definitely want to buy these. And just so many people drawing garbage that I don't know why anybody would look at twice, but, you know, they get a following because, you know, somebody likes how talkative they are on their live stream or whatever. But yeah, it's amazing. We do provide now a lot of, if you can see it as that, a lot of what is it? Not gratification. A lot of something occasion for people to validation for people to think that yeah, I'm good at this because this if I measure it in this way, then I'm popular. And yeah, they don't realize there's no point in that. Yeah, it's funny. But for a lot of those people, though, they can also just stop at any time. It's not that important, you know, what they're doing. So whatever, get that little bit of whatever you think that is and go away. Yeah, because I definitely think the internet is a bit fickle, and stuff that was like, wow, amazing just a few years ago, now people are like, what was that? It's real short-lived. So it'll be interesting to see how people deal with that. Okay. I think that works. Not quite. Oh, I'm already dying for some lunch. I guess I did eat pretty early, just in case you're wondering. All right, there's a wacky shadow for you. Okay, how is he sitting like that? It's amazing. Let me put something here, yeah. Yeah, these bright colors, wow. You don't see any white on there. All right, I think that's working. Oh, this far side wannabe. Okay. Let's try this. I can't remember anything. All right. Oh, it's pretty mellow colors. That's too dark. Yeah, something like that, maybe. Maybe. Actually, let's just go right away with a little bit less white. And I'm already forgetting. I won't look it up. I'm already forgetting what Marlboro. Oops. package looks like. Oh, is the red? Did I do it opposite? Is it here? Oh, I'll just do it opposite. It's fine. All right. And some metal color. All right, and see if I can find that nice filter color, something like that. And the tobacco color. All right. Now, something on the label. Okay, there we go. I can bring this down a little bit. Yeah. And I can also erase the overlap. Bum bum. There we go. Yeah, and just for... yeah, I guess I'll do that now. Come on. Just darken this a little already so I can get some differentiation. Not dark enough. Whoops. Hello? Come on. Getting a weird lag. All right. Yeah, and maybe... Okay. I'm going to put some warning on here about how bad smoking is. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, something like that. And something else on those cans. Like a band? Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, something like that. That looks like a thing. And here. Jeez, yeah, a little laggy. All right. I think that works. Oops. Again. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. All right. Oh, I love getting ad calls. All right. Yeah, somebody sold my cell phone number. I used it for some show registration or something, and they sold it. So now I'm getting advertising calls on my cell phone, which I don't sure is allowed, but whatever. Okay. And some bright spots on the cans. Ooh, let's not go crazy. All right, and maybe here as well. What's going on? I can't get a thin. Oh, maybe it's get a thicker. There we go. All right. Oh, yeah. Composition is a little odd, but oh well. Oh. Oh, okay. I don't know what kind of beer that is. Store brand something. All right, so we've got both of these colored, just not written. So let's go to the convenience store. All right. So not a big one, another just little quickie. The season's changing, so maybe I can find some more interesting seasonal things soon. And because immediately after Halloween season ends, Christmas starts in Japan. So we have almost 60 days, like 55, 54 days of Christmas in Japan, which is horrifying. Maybe there'll be some funny, interesting stuff. But in the meantime, so something that I just personally wanted to try, I'm just using this for my own means, is the, so Fujiya, who we think we've talked about before. Where's their little cute little super antique logo? Oh, here. Cha-cha-cha, Fujiya. Can you, is it focusing on my hand? Fujiya, those guys with the cute little F. Oh, and I'm in focus again. So they have restaurants now too, but they have the little cake shops. So it started like 1910 in Japan, making Christmas cakes. So they were a confectionery shop, Christmas cakes, and they started making candies and came up with their Peko-chan character, the little girl with the pigtails going, with the little tongue always sticking out in the corner of her mouth. That started in the 50s, and I think they really started to pick up in the 50s and produce things, and they did cooperations with other bakeries and stuff to do more goods. But one of the things that they started, I think in the 60s, like 1968, was home pie. So home pie. So someone at some point confused the Japanese about what the meaning of pie is. And so basically home pie, this is a chocolate version. But the regular version of it is, if you ever remember, if like a bakery sometimes will do this, or your mother or grandmother at home makes pies, and they've got leftover pie crust, pie dough, and there's no more pies. It's not enough to make another pie, or there's no filling left or whatever, and so they have excess dough. So they roll it flat, sugar it, and then roll it up, and then slice it, and then bake those. So bake the pie crust, so it'll be flaky little rolled sugary little pieces of pie dough, like cookies. And so that happened in Japan, that somebody discovered that, somebody brought that back from somewhere or saw that done or something, and so now made these home pies. And maybe that's why it's called home pie, because with like home baking, home cooking, that's what it would have been. But you can't see them so much but it is just like layered, kind of flaky dough baked into these little cookies. And the home pie, the regular home pie, this are pretty big. And they look little packs of 2. And this is just the mini, home pie mini. But anytime I see adult, that's the kanji for adult, rich chocolate, I know that we're in for something that doesn't taste too sweet and is not completely for kids. So it tastes good with coffee. So there's some adult chocolate. What a weird way to say that, the adult chocolates. Oh, these are small. Very mini. So just like a chocolate dunked home pie. So let's see how these are. So the consistency, yeah, it's pretty much like a home pie. A little heavier because it's dipped in chocolate, more like a rusk, like the kind of crunchy dry bread snack they have. But it's good. Rich chocolate. And so it's chocolate pie. Yeah, really nice. So this just came out. This is just the new version. See, they kind of drizzled the chocolate on it. It's not exactly, they don't look quite so amazing as they do on the package. But, yeah, so Fujiya has been around for forever in Japan. They just had their 2010, they had their 100th anniversary, so 100 years of cookies and pies and candies. And I think I showed you the milky, that milky kind of taffy, kind of sweet, chewy candy. That's one of their brands, and Peko-chan is on the cover of those candies. And so they have small cake shops and sometimes restaurants, but small cake shops. And they make the cakes that they make, the short cakes for kind of all, birthday cakes or all holidays, and also Christmas cakes, are sweetened. So they're more kids' version, because the shortcake itself is sweetened, and it tastes like a kid's kind of cake. So there's so many amazing, really light, really barely sweet, but very fresh and wonderful kind of shortcakes in Japan, that their cakes are a little odd and kind of just for little kids' parties, and as an adult, they don't taste that good. But these taste pretty good. They're kind of richer, darker chocolate, just like they say, which is nice, because if it's not that flavor, it's usually a really sweet, lighter milk chocolate, and not so good. But these are wonderful. So definitely, home pie is something somebody might give you. Like if they give you coffee or tea and something, a little cake or a little snack that they might give you if you visit them. If they're not doing very Japanese, like osenbei or some Japanese sweets and tea, if it's more Western style stuff, maybe home pie will be there. But oftentimes you see pie, apple pie and things, and it's like, it's not a pie. It's very different. But I have seen some pie shops that do have, the traditional fruit pies and cream pies and, lemon meringue and things. But the one cut, like one piece of the pie is like $8. And a whole pie is like 4,000, 5,000 yen, so like $40, $50. A little bit less. But amazing. I can't stop eating these. And I guess I should, because talking with my mouth full must sound horrible on the internet. But yeah, Fujiya makes a lot of fun stuff, and home pies are... Oh, I tore off the logo. Look at that F. Look at that classic 1910 logo. All right. So, definitely recommended the rich chocolate mini home pie. Those are really good. Yeah, because the regular ones are, basically just pie dough. So they're just a very light dough, sugary dough. It's very buttery, though. That's true, because, I think that's what makes things flaky. A lot of butter. So kind of buttery, sugary, little crunchy cookies. And that is the chocolate version. So pretty wonderful. So I'll look for more seasonal things, because we are deep into the getting into the Christmas season for next time. But let's get back to drawing. All right. So okay, come on. Wow. Yeah, it's not liking something here. Ah, delicious chocolate home pie. Yeah, perfect with coffee. What's going on here? I would like to select some text. There we go. His... Warning. Oh boy, very clumsy. Maybe just the warning. Yeah, because that's too American, I think. Saying this very, very long, so just the alcohol noticed the warning on the side of the cigarettes. Oh, and I didn't put eyes on the cigarette, which I should do, because I always do stupid stuff like that, right? There's not a easy way to get that across the way I want to. Yikes. All right. See, when I can't write, I fuss with the the art, as always. Okay, the Warner printer inspect made them reconsider. Yeah, this is a better way to say that. Okay. Oh, I definitely have done this joke before. With all his With all his artificial colors and flavors, she doubted he was bringing anything real to this relationship. Okay, so she's got to be the distraught one here. Yeah, with all his artificial colors and flavors, she doubted he was bringing anything real to this relationship. Oh, maybe some little bubbles? Let's see here. Just something a little to break up that purple. With all his artificial colors and flavors, she doubted he was bringing anything real to this relationship. Okay. Okay. What are we doing here? The warning. Letting their child spend any time with him. The warning printed on his pack made them reconsider letting their child spend any time with him. That's not... Made them all obsessed with death. It's got to be better than that. Let's see. The warning printed on his pack made them all obsessed with their own deaths. So I was waiting for them to discover was just happy that they was just them to discover the warning. He was just waiting for them to discover the terrifying warning printed on his pack. Okay, that's better at least. He was just waiting for them to discover the terrifying warning printed on his pack. All right. And with all the other artificial color and flavors, she doubted he was bringing anything real to this relationship. Well, that sounds just like an update of a old cartoon. Okay, so I think that's where we are for this week. So, purple Kool-Aid with all, or what was the other? High C? I think that was cans. I forget. Cool Flavor-Aid. No, I don't know. That was the Ice Pops. Kool-Aid and Welch's. I think Welch's. Not Welch's. That's real grape juice. Welsh. Oh, wow. That's weird. Yeah, they're kind of two competing packs in the 70s and 80s of drink. And I only remember Kool-Aid. With all his artificial colors and flavors, she doubted he was bringing anything real to this relationship. And he was just waiting for them to discover the terrifying warning printed on his pack. All right. Well, that works. Well, that'll do it for this week. How are we doing here? Wow. Whoa. We've been doing this for a while. Okay. So thank you for joining me. And I hope you enjoyed a more normal episode this week. I sure enjoyed using this machine instead of that tablet. That was a little rough. But if you'd like to see me stumble and hear a very terrible microphone, not as bad as the first when I was using this webcam mic. That was the worst. But please visit abusecartoons.com. You can also find my book on Amazon or lulu.com. There's a link on the website. Follow this cartoon on Twitter at abusecartoons. Abusecartoons is the website, and gocomics.com/abusecartoons, where we read all the comments, is a way for you to get this cartoon delivered to your inbox. So please check that out and subscribe if you like to read comics. And I will be back next week. And thank you very much for the support that I'm already getting from my patrons. I couldn't do this without you. I appreciate this so much. And if you would like to become a patron and support this cartoon and get more involved, get some original art of the early drawings, get a signed book, or anything that might interest you, please visit patreon.com/abusecartoons. And I will be back, as always, next week with more convenience store goodness and hopefully some nice comments. I will see you then. Goodbye.